So, my dad was super close to this girl in high school, and that's how I've come to know this story. Her name is Sam. Sam was really into art, like my dad, and was super chill. Sam was really pretty too. She had tons of brothers though, to come and beat up anyone who they didn't see fit as a suitor. But there was also this other guy, David. Sam wasn't super close to David, and David was a pretty quiet kid. He was nice and had a close circle of friends, which Sam wasn't in. He was just kind of a blurry face in the halls. However, David started changing classes at the beginning of the second semester in their junior year. He wasn't very into art, and most people, by their junior year, have a set interest. But this semester, he was suddenly in an art class. Sam would turn up to a class, and then suddenly David was there. She thought it was a bit creepy, sure, but not enough to make a fuss over. Like I said, she was chill, so she was polite to him, and since he was struggling in art class, which he was clearly not interested in, she helped him out a bit. This took a bit of a turn when she started to get calls from him all the time. He started talking to her in the halls, between classes, everywhere he got a chance. But when someone else answered the phone or tried to talk to Sam at the same time as him, he would hang up or slink off. Sam started to get yelled at by her dad because of David's constant calling. This would subside, she thought. This is just a stupid guy testing his limits. She started reaching her limits when she heard strange things at night. Mind you, she lived way out of town, hidden back in some fields, and her bedroom was on the second floor. She started hearing knocking on her window, nails scratching on it. That sound you hear when you press your finger really hard on a wet window and drag it. Whenever she got to the window though, she never saw anyone there. She started closing her blinds, making sure to lock her windows every night, checking once, twice, 3 times to make sure that, yes, they were locked. She got scared and woke up in the night for no reason, at least. No reason came to mind, except for 20 years later when she was revisiting those nights again and telling me. When she said that she felt like even though the curtains were closed, someone was watching her. She would get sick to her stomach at night, out of worry, and go puke. And she said, even then, she felt like David was there. However, she had no real proof to go on, other than his insistent calling and attempts to make conversation. What pushed her overboard was when he would call her and tell her what she was wearing or what she was doing, or, when she wouldn't pick up, come up to her in the hallways the next day and say, "I know what pajamas you were wearing last night." Whenever she would challenge him to give her an answer as to which pajamas she was really wearing, he would give her the right answer and leave without another word. She went home and told her parents, even though she didn't like to, because she wanted to take care of this herself, and telling her parents made her feel like a little kid. They moved her bedroom to the interior with no windows, but he would keep going. Her brothers would check all around the house, but there was no form of transportation outside to be found. They would check the woods across from their house. Nothing turned up. Whenever Sam tried to tell a teacher, someone, anyone, who had any type of authority over the situation, they would pass it off as teenagers being teenagers and fooling around, playing some sort of joke to see how the teachers would react. The last straw was when Sam, on the interior bedroom with no windows, doors locked, windows everywhere in the house locked, everything shut up tight, heard a noise in the middle of the night and felt like she was going to vomit. She listened closely and tried to hear breathing or steps of any kind. She heard her door creak open slowly and froze out of fear. When she came to her senses, she screamed her head off to make everyone in the house come running. She could hear so many pairs of footsteps that it was impossible to figure out how many there were and whose were whose. When her brothers, who were there first, got to her bedroom, they found the door already wide open. Sam crawled into a ball on her bed, not having moved an inch. They quickly ran around the house to find where he had gone. They heard footsteps outside and found David scrambling into the aforementioned woods. There was no catching him in the dark now, even though they all knew those woods like the back of their hands. But they weren't going to just let the same thing happen that night. Her dad sat on the porch with his gun, while her brothers took other spots around the house. Sam stayed with her mother in her parents' bedroom, but they didn't sleep. Sam's brothers went to school the next day and kicked the shit out of David, and it stopped. Sam didn't switch back to her old bedroom though. David was a quick learner and would probably learn from his mistakes. Who was to say that he wouldn't come back again and actually do something to her physically this time? Sam never really felt safe, but nothing else turned up. David stayed away from her for the rest of high school. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or of any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.